Yeah.
But nobody knows it, John.
Yeah, I was getting ready to.
Well, bang, go ahead.
Let's call the meeting to order. The regular March 8th meeting of the City of Osage Beach Planning and Zoning Commission. Do you want to do allegiance now or after roll call?
Now.
Okay, let's do Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Now roll call.
Alan Blair,
Here.
Jennifer Howard,
Here.
Dennis Kelly,
Here.
Tony Kern,
Here.
Mayor John Albright,
Here.
Alderman Bob Osage,
Here.
Chairman Susan Edley,
Here. Oh, sorry, I thought we had more. Whoops. I know, I was like, where's everybody at? Are there any comments on the minutes from the February 8th meeting? If there are none, I would entertain a motion.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion passes. I'm going to read a little description of what planning and zoning, what our job is tonight. The Planning Commission is a board of volunteers that is appointed by the mayor and the Board of Aldermen. Its function is to review and make recommendations to the Board of Aldermen on matters concerning development, the land use code, and the zoning map of the city of Osage Beach, including amendments and changes thereto. Recommendations will be made with consideration of conformance to the Osage Beach Municipal Code along with the following: relatedness of the proposed amendment to goals and outlines of the long-range physical plan of the city, existing uses of property within the general area of the property in question, the zoning classification of property within the general area of the property in question, the suitability of the property in question to the uses permitted under the existing zoning classification, the trend of development, if any, in the general area of the property in question, including changes, if any, which have taken place in its present zoning classification. Our goal in regulating is to provide adequate provision for transportation, water, sewer, schools, parks, and other public needs, including safety, health, and general welfare. I do that every time. Light and air, while conserving the values of buildings and property through encouraging the most appropriate use of land within the municipality. The first order of business tonight is rezoning case 417, a request by Jim Nugent, Harper's Cove Investment Company, for a recommendation to approve a rezoning from A1 agricultural and C1 general commercial to R1B single family and R3 multifamily. Carrie?
Yes, good evening. As the chairman said, this is a request by Jim Nugent and the Harper's Cove Investment Company to rezone 34.1 acres of property located on Sycamore Valley Drive. This particular piece of property has been owned by this company or by this group for going on 50 years, and in the plus 20 years that I've been here, I've had a number of conversations on this particular piece. Currently, it is zoned, the majority of it is zoned A1 agriculture, with a piece of property that is about 100 foot wide by about 1,000 feet long that is zoned commercial. And for the life of me, it's right in the middle of it, looks a bit like a candy bar. For the life of me, it makes absolutely no sense, other than that I was told at some point that is where a ferry docked. And at the time they did the zoning back in 1984 to 85, that's why they did this commercial. I can tell you, in the years that we have had this particular piece, and it has been there, I've had a multitude of interesting conversations about this particular piece, ranging from lakefront bars to condominiums to everything else that you can imagine, most of which didn't gain much steam, because I either told them that we wouldn't be recommending approval of that, or they found the lakefront and the lake capacity down on the water not to meet their needs. So today it comes to us with a request to rezone approximately 19 acres to R3, leaving the other 15 acres to be single-family residential. It's a bit unusual that a request will, exactly match what the comprehensive plan calls for that particular piece of property, but it just so happens that, one, the individuals who have brought this before you today have been in contact with me quite a bit, have looked at the comprehensive plan, and also know what the community's needs are, and it met what their intention for the piece of property is. So it's certainly a situation that, it's kind of an exciting deal to be able to look at this piece of property, hopefully get it rezoned to develop the way that it should develop, provide for the community the very needed homes that we have within the community, and be a good addition to the city of Osage Beach. So with that, and with all of the situation that it has, I would recommend approval of this request to the Planning Commission tonight.
Commissioners have any questions for Carrie first? I know the applicants are here and they have representatives as well. Would any of you all like to present any further information or clarify any aspects of the development?
No, it's.
Well, he's a representative.
Good evening. Jeff Krantz with Remax Lake of the Ozarks. We've been involved on the,
Sign in.
sign in. There's a lot of little fill in the blanks here.
Yeah, sorry about that. Anyone who comes up to speak, please sign in.
Yes, sorry.
I should have said that first.
So Carrie already touched on the biggest thing that I wanted to add to a little bit is that the proposed development fits a tremendous housing need that we see daily. It's a unique type of development because we don't see a lot of full-time, what I would call full-time. There will obviously be second home interest on the lakefront. But off the lake, with the lake view and the lake access, we anticipate a lot of full-time move-up buyers, which, with the lot cost that we're planning from a view lot and a second tier or off the water lot, it's going to be really, in our opinion, it's going to be really attractive to a full-time family or buyer or person that lives here full-time to sell that property that they have, upgrade a little bit, which is going to open up more full-time for us. We're excited about that because we deal with issues all the time that revolve around the need for close-in, full-time subdivision feel type properties that we just don't have here. So in our opinion, it really fills a great need. I know it was it was a good fit for the comprehensive plan, but in marketing the property over the years, there's been a lot of intended uses that don't necessarily fit they might have worked, but this one it just feels perfect for that piece of property. So happy to try to answer any questions that you guys might have. We do have the developers here and we have the seller here, so hopefully we can get you the information you need.
Anyone have any questions for Jeff? Okay,
No?
thank you.
Thank you.
Is there anyone here that would like to speak in opposition of this development? Steve, please sign in.
Yeah, and I'm not here to speak in opposition. I'm just
To
here
speak in general?
To speak for a couple concerns.
Okay.
The first I wanted to ask, and Carrie and I touched on this a little bit out front, was the notification process of adjacent property owners. Steve Cars, and I'm representing my family tonight as best I can. We received a courtesy letter from the city about this rezoning. My wife and I have property adjacent to this property that's being rezoned. We did not receive that courtesy letter. Now, the two holding companies, which are Osage Golf LLC and Cars Family Property LLC, did. The next point is, those were sent out on the 24th, postmarked on the 24th, and received on the 28th. And of course, the meeting tonight is the 8th, so it's 13 days. So I don't know if you guys go by the state statute of 15 days notification to adjacent property owners or not.
We do 15 days for the public hearing, which is the board public hearing that will be held the first week
But that's not
of
this
May.
public hearing?
That is not this public hearing.
Okay.
Planning commission requirements require actually that we post it on the public board, that we post the property 7 days prior to, which we did. And we actually send, with the mailed notification that goes to the board, we send a notice in there for the planning commission meeting, just so that adjacent property owners will know that the planning commission is open to them as well, and that we're gonna have this meeting. As far as the state and city code required notifications, it's all for the public hearing with the Board of Aldermen, because they are the elected public representation for the citizens. So what the goal is to try to get you knowledge of the planning commission meeting, so that you can be here or make comments, come in and learn what the applicants are wanting to do, and then you can take your comments to your representatives on the board, you know, if you have negative comments or what have
I
you.
understand what you're saying, but I guess it's a little confusing to me why, if adjacent property owners are not being notified of a zoning change, so you guys will make the decision to make the zoning change, while our next avenue to go against it, if we were, again, we're not, not going against this, is at a Board of Aldermen meeting?
They're the ones that make the final approval. The planning commission.
This is appointed by the Board of Aldermen.
Right.
And are making a recommendation to the
To the
board.
board.
I mean, I sat on, everybody knows here, I sat on city
I know.
council, and I know that there's been processes before. I mean, what about a sign notification on the property?
It's on the property.
Where is it?
It's on the corner, it's about 1,000 feet from Oak. We do know that it blew down in the storm on Saturday, but we put it back up, this week.
1,000 feet from Oak.
From Oak, so you've got Oak, and then it's right at the corner, where I asked the guys to put it, is right on the corner of the property, so that everybody going this way would see it, and anybody going into Oak would be able to see it.
What about Normandy?
We didn't put one on Normandy, because it's all the way down in, I mean, we put it in a location where if you went on Normandy, you would have seen the one that's there.
Yeah, but all the residences are down the gravel
But
road.
they should have to pass the sign that we placed
On the way.
to get to their.
We didn't see it. I mean, I don't know. Again, these are tit for tat things, but it's just good policy, okay? The other thing we wanted to address is that with the development they have, we've seen the drawings for the homes. Great, wonderful. The couple things that concern us is the piece of ground, and maybe, again, Carrie and I have talked a little bit about this, which is the piece that's right on Sycamore Valley and Normandy, the corner there. Our property adjoins everything right there. We are already receiving controlled runoff from MoDOT in the expressway, which over the years hasn't been too bad. What we really are going to be interested in is how well the developer follows the codes within the city for stormwater retention. And since that is a valley and water's going to get fast as they develop, that is going to be something that we're very keen on controlling because everything goes through our property. You know, we're a large property owner. Everything up by the hospital comes through us. This is going to come through us too. So those are some concerns. The other last concern, Carrie, that I talked about was the sewer access, hoping that there's going to be no gravity line or anything put into the station that's below our house and on our property. Carrie said there's probably going to be a force line up to the main line, which we would very much hope that's the case.
As I told Mr. Cars, that particular station that he is talking about, you know, for the function of what it is, one, it would require numerous easements to get to it from the property that we're talking about now, but also it is a station that will be taking the brunt of the future development on the Sycamore Creek property, which is approximately 220 acres. So there really just will be no capacity. The owners of this piece will have the necessity to create their own sewer system. And all of those plans, as is typical, will come to the city, be reviewed by Cochran, our city engineers, and will be part of the preliminary plat process that will come before the commission and the Board of Aldermen. Now, it doesn't have a notification process like a rezoning or a special use permit or what have you, but it's still certainly a situation to where when it comes in, it is a public document, and Mr. Cars has asked me, you know, if I can let him know whenever that does come in, which I'll be happy to do, so they can come, you know, take a look at it. And, you know, far be it from me to, you know, try to keep two large property owners that are adjacent to each other from getting together and working things out the way that it needs to be done. So I'll be happy to do that. Yeah.
Yeah, we appreciate that from your board and from the city council too, because again, it's a major concern.
Yeah.
I mean, as development happens above us, the flow of water through our property is getting out of control. The last thing I wanted to ask about, and this is on my wife's and I's house, we have a road that access goes down to our house, paved road. The city utilizes it to service that station below our house. In looking at their plans, it looks like one of their roads is going to follow that road in, which is fine. The one thing is that there are city sewer and water mains on that one side of that road. The one thing we'll ask for sure, and hopefully the developer will take care of that, is that we're used to a paved road. Again, drainage issues there, and if they are going to rebuild that road and make it wider for city code, that our road remains paved and in good condition.
Yeah, the
while-
road.
while that construction takes place.
Yeah, the road that they build obviously will be curb and gutter and,
Sure.
and all of those things to control drainage. And yeah, I mean, anything that they really tear up, they need to replace and put back
Yeah.
better.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Steve, you know who the developer is on this, and
wife's been on, I have not.
okay, all right. And I would think that, you know, based on their history in the community, they're more than willing to, you know, stay in communication with you on this issue. Correct, guys? All right, thank you.
Is there anyone else that would like to speak? Come up. Thank you.
My name is Jack Huxup. I live at 1086 Normandy. I'm neighbors with Steve, and I know Jim. And I don't really have I just have a concern. Let me sign in real quick. My concern is just if we're going to have like too many duplexes or quadplexes, if that's going to hurt the property value and, know, it's a really quiet road right now, and the lakefront homes are obviously going to be, you know, used sparingly, and the full-time homes are going to be used occasionally. So I kind of like to see more full-time homes. That's great. But if we have too many quadplexes, obviously that might hurt the value. And, you know, just wanted to say that. I mean, it's your guys' property and all. So what do you guys think about that?
I mean, I will answer you from the perspective of what I know, and when you start talking about reconstructed roads with curb and gutter that would go in front of your home, and then ultimately having it developed, while will be different, it won't be the pasture basically on a hill that you've got now. Having that development take place, typically will raise your property values. Now, I know we've got some real estate agents in here that can probably attest to it better. But in my experience and what I see the properties in, at, and around go, after property around it develops, it typically will go up somewhere between, 7 to 9%, if not more. Right now, it's crazy, but I wouldn't expect, the increases that we have now to continue because they are unprecedented.
Do we know how many quadplexes and
No.
duplexes we're talking about now?
Well, quite candidly, we don't know that they'll put any of those in. Basically, what they have rezoned, the R3 portion of it will be a situation where, from my understanding, and they can come up and attest if they want to, will be more market-driven to see what people are looking for. So the R3 zone, not only will it allow, duplexes, triplexes, or even fourplexes, but it also allows smaller lot, single-family residential. So there could be, more small lot, single-family residential, if that's what their market is, if that's what's selling. Right now, to be quite candid, the city and the lake area needs everything.
Yeah.
We really do. We need everything.
So, but we're not talking about apartments, right?
Not that they have mentioned to me, because it's of their interest to keep what happens up above that will maintain what they would have down below. So, but these gentlemen can come
Yeah,
and
they
say.
Yeah, and it's your property, so, I mean, you do what you want.
Well, I mean, it's their property, but, they still have responsibility to develop it appropriately, so.
Okay, thank you.
If they want to come speak on that, they're more than welcome to. I think we need to shorten our questionnaire.
I know. I was just
My
like, what are we
goodness.
asking people?
I feel like they're giving their whole life away or something.
Good evening, Mayor, Commissioners, staff. My name is Adam Serafine with NHH Properties, the primary developer and prospective purchaser of the subject property. First off, I'd like to thank you for the consideration of our application this evening and staff for all the work that they've done on this application. As far as the zoning code goes, the R1B is highly defined, and we've worked through what those pad sizes and what the overall lots will look like, and that will constrain the houses to what we believe will be 28 to 3,600 square feet in size. While we haven't gone through the planning process for all of the R3 land, it is exactly as Carrie had explained. It will be a market-driven conversation, and we, at least today, anticipate that the rest of the site will remain consistent with what we're doing with the R1, with the potential to go with maybe a smaller lot size, potentially a twin home type product that also matches the style, the size, and the architecture of the R1 product that's being designed today.
Commissioners, have any additional questions for Adam?
Jack, did that answer your question or give you some kind of indication?
Yeah, market-driven.
Thank you. Would anyone else like to speak? All right, if not, I would entertain a motion.
Before we go to a motion, could I just ask for one clarification in the minutes that We addressed this as case number 417. This is actually case 418, just for clarity. That's okay.
Whoops,
Just
sorry.
want to be sure that the record is correct.
It's your fault.
That's okay.
Is that my fault?
Yes.
My fault.
Yes, sorry, 418. All right, on case 418, if there's no further questions, I would entertain a motion.
So moved. Second.
Motion and a second. I assume that Ed probably wants us to do a roll call vote.
Yeah, that's correct, and I want to be sure that it says it's a motion to approve the request.
Motion to approve, yes. Motion and a second to approve, roll call vote.
Alan Blair,
Yes.
Jeff Dorhauer,
Yes.
Nancy Vasselli,
Yes.
Tony Kern,
Yes.
Mayor John Henry,
Yes.
Alderman Bob Osteen,
Yes.
Chairman Susan Headley,
Yes. Motion passes. I'm going to be recusing myself from the next item on the agenda. The mayor will take over.
All right, let the record show that Chairman Ebling has left the dais. And we move on to the next item, which is requesting approval of the Topsider subdivision preliminary and final plats. City planners report, please.
Let's go ahead and let things quiet down before we get started,
Okay.
Mayor, if that's okay with you.
I kind of thought that crew was here for this project. But I guess
No,
not.
I think the Topsider crew is sitting right over there with those two.
Oh, okay.
That's those
All
two
right.
hooligans over there,
Well,
so.
welcome, guys. Good to have you with us this evening. I don't know what you guys said, but you chased a bunch of folks out of the meeting area.
Yes. Mayor, this is a request for a Topsider subdivision preliminary and final plat approval. In short, functionally, the preliminary plat is something that customarily we would have seen prior to the construction of the project beginning. What I can tell you is that during the process, initially, the property was going to be a 3-lot subdivision with the units being unit 111 of Lot 1 of Topsider subdivision. With it only being 3 lots, it wouldn't be a major subdivision. But then the owners hired an attorney, and they had to hire a new engineer, and they found a better way to do it that probably is more protective of them, which required that the subdivision then be broken into 8 lots instead of the 3 that we were going to have. So what you see tonight is both the preliminary and the final plat that will allow them to begin moving units in Building 1, the one that you see as you're going across the bridge currently. The preliminary plat shows the entire development with the parking, with all the sewer and water and everything on it, which we've already seen back when we did the rezoning a couple years ago. That particular preliminary plat meets the site development requirements and meets everything for preliminary plats. And I would recommend approval of the preliminary. As part of that, the public services and infrastructure portion that will serve Building 1 has already been approved by Cochran, our engineers, and it's actually being installed currently in the way that it was approved. As it pertains to the final plat, it's a little bit different than what we would typically see for a condo, but they're more than, certainly allowed to do it this way. In typical, what we would see when it comes to you is one building at a time as they're being built. This particular final plat shows all 5 of the lots, the 6th lot being the common area between the building and the lake, and then lots 7 and 8 being the lots that go up the hill that will be home to hopefully the restaurant and the hotel in the future. And while it's a little bit different, and I did speak to Mr. Ellsworth, the attorney, about it, he assured me that he had his reasons for doing that. When they do build the new buildings, they will need to be shot again just to make sure that they're in the location that they're platted. And if they're not, they'll have to come back with an amended plat to show them, exactly where they are. That's what is required for platting of condominium buildings. But with that being the case, even though it's a little bit different, it is still fine. One of the things that they will have to do, since they're doing all of the buildings, platting them at once is provide us with an engineer's estimate for the services that are remaining for the entire development, and then a letter of credit for 125% of that amount before the Board of Aldermen can approve the first and second reading of the final plat ordinance. But with that being the case, it does meet all of our requirements, and with those things being submitted, I would recommend approval to the Planning Commission.
All right, thank you. Any questions from the commissioners? If not, there are representatives here for the development. Is there anything that you all would like to share with the commission this evening?
No, I don't think so. There was some opposition. We were here to respond to questions, but other than that, no comment.
All right, thank you very much. We appreciate that. Well, since there is no input, then we'll move on. Are there any questions from the commissioners? If not, is there a motion to approve the Topsider subdivision preliminary and final plats?
Motion approved.
Yes. Bob Osteen. Do I have a second? We have a second. Commissioner Kern. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion is approved. So we'll now recall Chairman Eveling to take control of the meeting. If someone would, yeah, there we go. She's
Wave her
coming
in?
Yeah, wave her in. So let the record show that the chairman has returned to the dais.
Any other reports?
Yes. Just a real quick kind of go over kind of what you're looking at now. If you look in front of you on the dais, I'm sure you see some little speakers. Those little speakers, what they are there for is so that you all can hear each other better, as we go. So you should actually, when one of you talks into the microphones, you should hear it coming out of that speaker. And the way that it's wired is that if you're sitting on that side and Alderman Osteen is speaking, it will actually increase in volume on the speakers as it goes to the other side. That's how it's supposed to work.
Fancy.
We've never had that much luck with our stuff. That being said, one of the other things that I wanted to bring to your attention and make you ready for, at our next meeting in April, if we have a meeting in April, we will have 5 new members of the Planning Commission. They were approved by the Board of Aldermen at the last meeting, so there will now be 12 Planning Commissioners, which is a number far closer to what we try to stay at typically, as opposed to, our 7 warriors that we currently have. But it will be great to have those folks. They are all, I spoke to all of them. I've known a few of them for quite some time, and they've all been in the lake area for quite a while. They have, very various backgrounds. And I really believe that you will find they'll bring a lot to your commission. So they will be here at the next meeting. Hopefully you'll get to know them, and we'll continue to do a lot of business, because we are going to continue to do a lot of business. So with that, did you want me to say something about the dinner? I'll go ahead and say something about dinner. So hopefully you all got your invitations to the appreciation dinner at the end of this month. So if you're able to attend, make sure you give the city clerk's office a shout and get your RSVP in there so you can come spend more time with me and eat some food. So
Don't chase them away. Don't say something. Discourage.
I was hoping that the food would bring
The
them
no
in.
prime
I know
rib
it'll bring
thing.
Nancy
No prime
in.
rib.
No prime rib almost
prime rib
chased
this
me
year.
away.
No prime rib.
I already gave Carrie some stuff.
I was like, where is the prime rib?
Yeah.
I figured it out.
Well, it's- I
That's
don't
the
know.
only time of year I ever eat.
You eat prime rib.
It's the best at the Elks.
All right, Susan, I will take you out for some
Well, they
prime
haven't
rib.
had it at the Elks for a while.
Probably because
yes.
of the cost of
Right,
food.
absolutely.
Everything is
Yeah.
crazy. It
I'm-
cost us more to get there this year than.
I
it
bet.
should have been.
Everything's cost more.
I'm really excited about the 5 new commissioners that we're bringing on. I think we've got a really good mix, and they've got, as Carrie has said, a real good background of experiences, to bring. They're going to be just like you when they first showed up. They're all going, I don't know anything about planning and zoning. And we said, so what? No
one ever
one
does.
else did either, okay? But I think that they are going to, make this a better commission, but simply in numbers makes it a little bit easier. We won't have to depend on you all to be here at 100% of the meetings, to meet quorum, but, it is always appreciated when everyone is here so that we can address the citizens' needs, in the community. But I'm excited to have them.
I don't have anything further.
Anyone else? All right, meeting adjourned.
So with fire districts.
Where'd these come from?
Pam. Well, thank you for the
Who brought the
candy.
treats?
So as fire district goes,
Trying to fatten us up, I think.
Gosh, I know. I'm gonna tell you what, I think she's got to deal with the dentist, all of them.
All of them, yeah, right.
But even
Where do you live?
I